I haven't made fun of the morons at Buzzfeed lately. I mean, pointing out how idiotic they are over there would be a full-time job. But I stumbled across this quiz called What Percent Sexist Are You? And even though I know the answer's 0, I know that because I don't subscribe to regressive social justice nonsense, Buzzfeed will think I'm a sexist pig. So play along at home and tell me exactly what is sexist about any of the things I'm about to say, won't you? Who should the breadwinner of a family be? Anyone who wants to bring home the bread. Who cares? This is another stupid BuzzFeed question because it's just not relevant. This is a totally non-gendered issue. It depends on the skills, education, and desire of the individuals involved. If the man has a better job, he can do it. If the woman does, she can bring home the money. If they both have good jobs, both can do it. What the hell difference does gender make? Who should spend more time on the housework? Now the same thing applies here. Who the hell cares so long as it gets done? I mean, I do a ton of housework. I do 99% of the yard work. And I do it because I happen to be there when it needs to be done. This is, once again, a completely non-gendered issue. Have you ever described a girl as slutty? Well, yes, because they were. And the same thing goes for guys. Have I ever described a guy as slutty? Well, of course. Because they're slutty. And if you're slutty, you deserve to be called slutty. But BuzzFeed's only interested in people being sexist against women. Being sexist against men? Well, that's totally fine. Without thinking, pick a boss. Okay, none of the above. Because I couldn't care less what my boss looks like, only how competent they are. But this is the kind of shit you expect from BuzzFeed. So I'm going to pick the guy in the tie because he looks more professional. If there had been a woman in professional business attire, I might have picked her. I don't care. Answer honestly. Have you ever judged a woman's intelligence because of the way she speaks? Well, of course I have. But then again, I've done the same thing for men. How you speak and how you behave demonstrates how intelligent you are. But they don't care if you're judgmental against a man. Hell, they probably support that. But try doing something against a woman, no matter how well justified it is, and they freak the hell out. Why do you think there's a gender pay gap? Well, there isn't. That's been completely debunked. Even though they give this as an option, they probably consider you a sexist for picking it. See, they don't ask the only worthwhile question out there. Is there a gender wage gap? And no, there isn't. Without thinking, pick a doctor. Another stupid question. I don't pick professionals based on their appearance. I pick them based on their education and their skills. But sure, I'll pick the woman because I picked a man last time. What the hell? Why do you think there are so few women in politics? Because they don't want to be. Same reason there are so few women in STEM fields. Same reason there are so few female trash collectors. Because they choose other career fields. Liberals have tried desperately to push women into these fields for decades, and it just doesn't work. They don't want to do it. Leave them alone. Do women make good bosses? Well, sure. And they make bad bosses too, because gender has nothing to do with being a good boss. It's your skills that matter. I've had plenty of really good female bosses in my life. I've had plenty of really bad male bosses. Gender has nothing to do with it, no matter how hard BuzzFeed tries to make it so. Without thinking, pick a nurse. Who the hell cares? I'm just going to arbitrarily pick the one in the middle because I get a whole team of nurses and doctors. Besides, who gets to pick nurses? If you're in a hospital, a nurse just comes into the room. You don't get to pick them out of a menu. Is BuzzFeed really this stupid? Wait, don't answer that. Can women be great mathematicians and scientists? Sure, if they want to be, and they have the aptitude for it. They can be whatever they want. And the little BS comment means nothing. Women can do what they want to do, and at least in my experience, they really don't get much resistance to their desires so long as they don't make their gender a defining factor. If you lost a sport to a woman, how would you feel? Well, since I don't play sports, I wouldn't care because I wouldn't do it in the first place. I'm just not competitive that way. But sure, I guess I'd feel good for whoever won because they proved themselves to be the superior competitor. and I wouldn't care about the gender of the winner at all. Who cares? Without thinking, pick a professor. Okay, the one in the middle because he looks more scholarly. He kind of looks like Darwin. Gender doesn't matter! Can women be funny? Sure, but it has nothing at all to do with their gender. There are plenty of funny female comedians out there and plenty of unfunny male comedians. I think it really matters how they do their comedy. Some of the most unfunny female comedians are the ones who make their gender the centerpiece of their comedy. They don't talk about funny things that happen or funny things that they see. They make it all about them. Screw that. Who should spend more time raising kids? Well, anybody who has the ability to do so. Women aren't automatically better at it than a man, and men aren't automatically better at it than a woman. How about a real answer? Both! But Buzzfeed doesn't give that option because it gets in the way of their sexist narrative. Like we're surprised. Has anyone ever called you sexist? Well, of course they have. Feminists do it all the time. They use the word like a club. They don't care if you're actually sexist. If you oppose them, they're going to tell you that you're sexist and a misogynist and a racist and a homophobe because they want to shut you up. Do you think sexism still exists? Well, yes, mostly on the feminist side. Buzzfeed, for instance, is terribly sexist. They spend all their time trying to prove that everyone is sexist, being sexist all along the way. Of course, they only care if men are being sexist toward women. They celebrate women being sexist toward men. But what else is new, right? And that makes me 47% sexist, according to the sexists at Buzzfeed. Of course it does, because regressive stupidity is what Buzzfeed does. I hope nobody's at all surprised. Now let me ask you this. What did I say in any of my responses that was legitimately sexist? That could even be construed as sexist to anybody but the most ardent radical feminist? Anything? Anything at all? Of course not, because I'm not sexist. Buzzfeed is. Buzzfeed has a narrative that they're going to push, and what they're really punishing, if getting a supposedly bad result from one of their idiotic surveys is punishment, is disagreeing with the radical left. This isn't about truth, it's about disagreement, and that's what the radical left actually cares about. If you're not towing their line, you're bad. Well, maybe they should stop looking in the mirror.
Everything changes.